flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't think I had the most rain. And Father, we give you great thanks for the moisture this region has received in the past week. What a blessing. We continue to ask your blessing for moisture for the whole entire region, Lord. As we gather together as Finney County Commissioners, grant us the wisdom and to make the correct decisions we need to make today. We ask your blessing on us and those in this room. Grant us health and prosperity, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Yeah, I turned it on. I knew I'd be getting the evil snake eye look over here if I didn't have it on. As you can tell, our chairman is not here, so we will proceed. Consent agenda. Everybody's looked at it. Need a motion? Oh, wait a minute. Do you want to?
Mr. Chairman, we need to add
Yeah, Dave wants to add something to the agenda real quick.
library board appointment to the existing agenda. So we have 2 vacancies and 2 nominees.
So noted. We'll put it down there under Board of Zoning Appeals.
And with that, Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the consent agenda items.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Public comment. We have some public in the crowd. Thank you.
Oh, oops, dropping everything. So good morning. My name is Beth Coxel, and I'm the Director of Community Health at the Finney County Community Health Coalition. So I just wanted to come today and thank you guys for approving our AFAC prevention grant last month. So with those funds, we were able to purchase, probably about 500 doses of naloxone. And naloxone is used along with emergency medical treatment to reverse the life-threatening effects of a known or suspected opioid overdose in adults and children. And anyone can be trained to administer naloxone. And if you know of someone or an organization interested in this training, we'd be happy to help them. So working with our Finney County Opioid Task Force members, we've been able to identify some opportunities to get this naloxone into the hands of those individuals most at risk for opioid overdose, and those individuals that are unable to obtain naloxone through the Kansas Naloxone program. So currently the website that DECA hosts is only available in English, and you have to have an address to have your naloxone mailed to you. So we're really trying to fill those gaps that the naloxone program has throughout Kansas. So if you know someone in need of naloxone on hand, feel free to send them our way. And I brought some cards that list the symptoms of overdose and our treatment resources that are available here in Finney County too. And one final thing we'll ask you to do is save the date for July 20th, which will be our Finney County Opioid Summit. And we'll have Tony Mativi, the director of the KBI, out here to be one of our keynote speakers for that.
Where
Will it be? It will be at the high school.
you have any idea of time?
I think it's set to start at 9 to 4. So we have 8 different breakout sessions, different topics for healthcare, law enforcement, general community members, parents, and I think this year we're adding 2 different sessions that will be held solely in Spanish as well.
Now, to get those kits, Beth, they have to be trained before they send it to them, or?
Anybody can really do it. When you order through the Kansas Naloxone program, you really just put your name, your address in, and they send it to you. There is a little video on the DECA website that shows how to do it. I bet Skylar would attest that there are some people that when they receive naloxone and are revived, that they wake up a little bit angry, and it's probably a little bit good to have some knowledge of what could potentially happen.
Who, besides the potential users, who do they really target to send this to?
So we're looking at places like repeat overdose clients or patients. Some things we're also looking at are maybe down at community corrections. The library is one place we're going to reach out to also. Places where you just have a lot of people that you don't really know coming into your establishment. Tourism is a big one with hotels and bars and restaurants too that we're going to be targeting as well.
Questions for Beth? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Any other public comments? Seeing none. Chief? Tell us about the fireworks.
Well, good morning. Finney County Resolution 03-2021 specifies the sale for fireworks approved for July 27th through July 5th from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. The resolution also specifies fireworks discharge dates from July 1st to July 5th, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. In 2022, GCFD responded to a total of 14 fireworks-related calls in the county, which is historically in line with prior years. After researching the drought index rating in the region, taking our lack of moisture in consideration, and consulting with both the Holcomb Fire Chief and the Emergency Manager, my recommendation for the 2023 fireworks season is to continue allowing the sale of fireworks in the county, but prohibit the discharge of any fireworks outside the respective city limits. Our goal this season is to keep fireworks away from dry land and where fire would rapidly spread, and still allow citizens to use fireworks if they desire. The Garden City Fire Department spends a significant amount of time canvassing fireworks stands, tents, and/or buildings to get information to the hands of consumers regarding what is allowed to be discharged and the authorized dates. Additionally, GCFD staff utilize social media campaigns heavily in the effort to proactively provide fireworks education. Additionally, we plan to readdress the Board of Commissioners at the June 19, 2023 meeting if we receive moisture and both the Holcomb Fire Chief and the Emergency Manager agree that allowing the discharge of fireworks outside the respective city limits will be safe. Be able to answer any questions if you have any.
Go ahead. And thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Chief, you're saying this is a temporary thing. I mean, as people might ask us and so forth, we're saying for 2023, and that we could review again in June,
Yeah.
as you just said at the end here.
Yeah, to allow to start issuing permits and making orders for fireworks. We'll have them, the recommendation now with the information we have would be to allow them in the city limits only.
And it does not, and the last question, it does not change the dates as far as discharging firearms and as far as sale of fireworks. Second Amendment, Second Amendment. But fireworks and the sale of fireworks.
Yeah, nothing changed, just allowing them in the unincorporated, or banning them in the unincorporated areas of Finney County, so.
I'm asking these just so if there are people online and so, we're all on the same page.
Yep.
Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Chief, I agree completely with what you're proposing. Do you feel we need a resolution to change the resolution now, or just understand that in a month or two we need to put a new resolution
Yeah.
adding that modification?
I would say in a month or two, by the recommendation, if approved, that in July 19th, we would go ahead and
Go ahead
issue
and
that.
make a new resolution
Make a new resolution for 03-2021.
and then rescind it later.
Rescind it, as needed.
Understand?
Are you acquainted with our county council who is a resolution writer?
I'm not. How are you?
Here.
I'll bet between the two of you, you can come up with
Yeah.
the right resolution.
And I have started reaching out to some other counties as well to kind of see what it is that they have in place resolution-wise, and trying to figure out the best way that maybe we can modify what our resolution is. Actually, maybe put in a new resolution in place that's maybe a little easier to modify from time to time as we need to, in conjunction with our fire chief.
Appreciate it.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I would move that we follow the chief's advice as far as allowing sale of fireworks in Finney County and the ban of discharge of fireworks outside of the respective city limits at this time, and review the issue in June with regard to whether or not that can be rescinded.
I'll second.
Okay. One quick question.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to muddy the waters too much. you know, I know in the past we talked about limiting the discharge time to coincide with the sale time.
Mhm.
Was there still any thought about doing that, or is that still?
I think that may be another meeting, but I believe that the way it is right now, it works best. That's my recommendation. Now, through the state, we can do.
I know we'd had discussion in the past with the folks running the stands.
Mhm.
You know, they didn't like us narrowing up their sales period, but usually when they buy them, they set them off.
They do, and
That's
we,
just
yeah.
observation.
And we do assist with the police department and the Finney County Sheriff's Office in canvassing and trying to enforce those rules and regulations for that. As I go through the Tuesday, I'll take for a waiver ordinance will be just the discharge through the 1st through the 5th through the city. So
That's fine. We've got a motion on, second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign.
Good work, Chief.
thank
Thanks.
you, sir.
Yeah.
Have a good rest of your day.
Appreciate your work.
Okay. Emergency Solution Grant. Beth. Oh, Nicole.
Good morning.
I'm not reading my,
How are you?
good.
Good. I come before you today on behalf of Compass Behavioral Health. I believe you may have before you our recommendation. Compass Behavioral Health's homeless prevention budget includes funds for short and midterm rental assistance, utility assistance, rental arrears assistance, and rental and security deposits for Finney County residents. Through the Department of Housing and Urban Development HUD provides the federal grant program through the Kansas Housing Resource Corporation. So we're just asking that the County Commission approve the Emergency Solutions Grant activities as proposed and authorize, that we have an authorized signature to sign from the local government for approval. So you should have that before you.
We do. Questions for Nicole?
I'm prepared to offer a motion.
Yes, go right ahead.
Offer the motion to approve the alternative one and allow the vice chair to sign the grant.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Skylar.
Good morning.
Morning.
So what we have before you here is just an agreement there, kind of following the pattern of making sure you guys know about agreements before we get into them. This one is with E-Services. Again, this is linked to our third-party biller QuickMed claims. E-Services is a organization that helps them to process paper checks that they may receive. Our goal is to get, so to make it as easy as possible for, excuse me, easiest possible for the citizens of Finney County to pay their bill for EMS, that it all goes to one place. And this includes also the insurance organizations and everybody else who pays the fees there. So right now, prior to this agreement, we do receive, if they're writing a paper check, it comes to us directly, and then we put that in for deposit. Whereas through this, it all goes to the same address, same billing company. They're able to process those checks and deposit them directly into our accounts, where we don't have to do that work ourselves. If you look at in the contract there, Schedule D, there's no additional fee for us. That's all included into our agreement with QuickMed Claims.
Cars had a chance to take a look at it. And
Yeah, I believe we sent that to you some time ago with Trista back a while ago, when we first started talking about it.
That was, she had some concerns about the documents that they were requesting. But I think that's the only part that I had actually seen was the, I don't know that I've seen the whole document. I think I saw the concerns about some financial information that they were requesting that I think got resolved at some point in time.
So it passes mustard with you too? Oh,
Oh, okay.
Alternative to send them the audit off
Okay.
of the state website, so they have that, but I don't know about the,
is this pretty time sensitive, Skylar, or?
I mean, we can delay it again. It's inconvenient, but it's not critical. It helps out if we go through it. If we can do it in 2 weeks, that's fine.
You want to do it in 2 weeks? Let's delay this action for a couple of weeks to have a little more legal review. Is that okay with you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
I would just suggest, Mr. Chairman, just to make it clear to Jenny that as she works with the chairman on the next agenda, we make sure this is on the next agenda.
All right. Thank you.
Hoydale contract, who's covering that?
I've got one in between there. Paul's pickups.
Oh, geez, Paul, I thought you were still riding a bike.
If I have to ride a bike, I'm not sure I remember how. Good morning.
Morning.
I'm here today to see about replacing one of our vehicles to be better suited to pull the command trailer. Right now, I'm using fire department, which Chief Ersig's guy's been really great about getting it here most of the time. We've had a couple incidents where it's been questionable whether we could get it there. And now moving forward, we're getting a little more involved with the community on several different things. So we're going to be working with them, with the police department on the parades and Beef Empire Days and stuff going forward. So I'd like to be able to get something to be able to pull the trailer. The pickup I had previously, I traded to Public Works because that pickup was not heavy enough to handle the trailer. Wasn't built properly to pull something that size. So I've been looking at used vehicles because I can't justify spending $70,000 on a new one when a good used one would suffice. So I made several inquiries. I found a vehicle that would be best suited for what I need. If I'd order this thing brand new, it'd be about $75,000. So right now, I'm kind of looking at $48,000, $49,000. I have $50,000 in my emergency reserve fund or my equipment reserve fund. I don't want to exceed the $50,000 because I believe I can find a vehicle that'll be best suited for that. So the 21 Ford F-250 that I found is fully equipped to pull the trailer. It's got the sway bar, it's got the brake locks on it, it's got the bigger motor, it's got the heavier duty transmission, it's got the sway bars to pull something. That trailer weighs about 22.5, so it takes a pretty good piece of equipment to pull it, being it's on a ball hitch. So this is kind of what I'm looking at right now.
Okay. So this is the Lewis Motor bid.
Yes.
Well, I like your comment about saving money.
I just, for one, it's hard to get a new one, and for two, when a pickup that's got 20,000 miles on it for $25,000 less will suffice, I just can't justify buying new. It'll still last the department probably 5 or 6 years, with the mileage and everything on it. So that's kind of where I'm looking at.
Okay. What are you guys'
I noticed that Ford pickup has a generator on there. That's powerful enough to light up a couple light bulbs. Well, the thing I liked about it, it's got towing capacity on it. It's got the camper package. I mean, it's just designed more with the 10-speed transmission. As you guys know, that 5-speed transmission in town can't cool off, so you run the risk of burning it up pulling something that heavy. So it's just essential to have something big enough to pull that trailer. So, and we've used it a lot here lately. So again, like I said, fire's been real good about pulling it for us, but I want to be able to have that ability to get it to where I need it without relying on them in case they get super busy, so.
Will you'll have to decal it and paint it?
I won't have painted, just put decals on it, because it's essentially about the same color as the vehicle I'm driving now, so. So there won't be any painting done with it. The only thing, the vehicle that I'm getting rid of, I'll just use the equipment out of there to put back on here, the light bar, the radio, the communication systems. So I won't have to buy anything new there.
Mr. Chairman, since he has the money in his equipment reserve account, I would move that we allow Paul to purchase the 2021 Ford F-250 from Lewis Motors for after trade-in for $49,837.95.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that, but buying used vehicles is it's a task, isn't it? Because you can't get 3 dealers or 2 dealers to bid the same thing. It's kind of an apples to oranges. If you have no complaints out of the dealers, you've done a good job. But with that, I'll second the motion to allow you to purchase that.
More discussion.
More discussion?
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I noticed you had 5 different bids. It's tough balancing years, mileage. Were they not equipped? So there was a diesel pickup in there somewhere.
The diesel pickup is local, but when I went to get the tow rating on it, it was about 5,000 pounds under what
Okay.
it's capable of pulling with this trailer.
Long story short, of the 5 vehicles, this is the,
Yes, the other ones, several of them were half tons, so that certainly wouldn't have been heavy enough to pull what we have. I've looked far and wide, I've called a lot of places to even come close to remotely finding something, and this one really cropped up and surprised me, so.
thank you for your patience, Mr. Chairman.
Not a problem. Any other questions for Paul before we vote? Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Now we'll take up the Hoydale bid.
Good morning.
Morning.
Melvin Wilson, Public Works Fleet Coordinator. This morning, would like to ask the Board of County Commissioners to consider and approve the contract for purchase of fuel pumps. The Public Works Department has $36,000 in their budget for 2023 for replacing fuel pumps at the Bruno Pit. Sourcewell streamlines the procurement process by soliciting bids and awarding contracts. This saves the county time and money from doing our in-house bidding process. Hoydale's bid came in under the budgeted amount at $31,629.78. There is also a charge order attached for $800 for an emergency shutoff valve for the fuel pumps. Hoydale is our current provider of the existing fuel pumps, and they provide repair and maintenance services. They have secured Wayne pumps sold per Sourcewell pricing agreement, 77984. The quotation contract was sent to legal counsel for review and has been reviewed. The board may approve the Public Works Director to sign the contract with Hoydale for the purchase of the new fuel pumps once the legal review has been completed. The board may reject the contract. Staff recommends alternative 1.
Questions?
How many pumps are we talking? I'm looking here quick. Oh, 2.
We are going to purchase 2 pumps, yes, sir.
And Hoydale's been a vendor down there for years.
Yes, sir.
I'll offer the motion, Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
to approve alternative 1 and Hoydale's offer be purchased.
Here, second.
Oh, yeah.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You. Mackenzie, morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mackenzie Phillips, Development and Administrative Coordinator. So we have received a few questions about if members serving on the Finney County Board of Zoning Appeals are required to live in the unincorporated area or can live in an incorporated area, such as like Garden City or Holcomb. So just to give you a little bit of background about the membership requirements for the Board of Zoning Appeals, back in 2021, the Board of County Commissioners did adopt a resolution to increase the number of members from 3 to 5. This is consistent with state statute, which does require the membership to be between 5 and 9 members. And then our current zoning regulations state that any member serving on the Finney County Board of Zoning Appeals shall be a taxpayer and resident of the county of Finney County. So we looked into state statute to see if there was any more guidance, because that's very ambiguous. It doesn't really say if they have to live in the unincorporated area or can live in the incorporated area. So according to state statute, it does say that all of the board's members shall be residents of the unincorporated area of the county. So that's all I have for you. If you have any questions for me, we have no recommendations for you today. So
You might just refresh our memory, who's on it right now?
so Vicki Gurman, Steve Michael, who? Butch Liker. There's not a fourth one. So we have 2 positions open then? There's 5. Okay, there's one more, but we can't think of the other one right now.
Is Vicky still on that?
Vicky is on it, yeah.
There's,
Can't think who the fourth one
I was gonna say there.
It isn't Nathan.
It's not Nathan.
commission, but not on.
Yeah.
I see fingers flying. There's a Google working a search over there.
Because it's just one member short.
We're just 1 member short right now. Yes.
So have we started searching, because we ask quite often when there's board appointments to be made, if we've gone out into the community and asked for names and volunteers, have we started doing any of that in search of a candidate?
I know at the last Board of Zoning Appeals meeting, Trent and myself talked with Vicky a little bit and to see if she had any ideas. Trent, Alicia, have you reached out to anybody else?
No, I haven't heard back from Vicki.
Okay, so
You what?
there hasn't been any other outreach, and we haven't heard back from Vicky. There are a couple people that we had in mind that we could reach out to, though.
You need somebody from the unincorporated area, correct?
Unincorporated area, correct. Yeah. So, what? Who was it that was previously on it? Sorry.
Well, as Alicia's coming up, I would just simply ask that we really do a good search, thorough search. This is really an important board. Not that all the boards don't have some element of importance, obviously, but this one, with regard to the tax and zoning appeals and so forth, is very important to our process. So I hope we use every avenue to search out qualified candidates.
Yeah, so whenever we have open or vacancies, we do post them online, and then we have reached out to the planning commission just to let them know if you guys have anybody of interest or recommendation, we would appreciate them applying. So that's kind of the extent of what we've done so far.
Put this in your,
Well, when you limit it to the unincorporated areas, you're cutting down on your applicant numbers.
and I don't understand the reason why. That just absolutely makes no sense.
The purpose usually is because the people that live in the unincorporated area know the area. When you live in the city, then you're more concerned possibly with the city's issues. And so when you're actually living out there in the unincorporated area, it's more of, yeah, they're more likely to know the issues that are going on.
Want to comment on that? It's just,
I think I would agree with that. I mean, and it is, at this point in time, it's part of the state statute, which is KSA 19-2962, where it specifically states that all board members shall be residents of the unincorporated area of the county. So I believe that that's where that comes from.
guess you have to complain to our representatives and senator.
I'm sorry.
I guess you'd have to complain to our representatives and senator about that and see if they want to change it.
I've been contacted, so that's a matter of record, by Bob Kreitzer saying that he'd be willing to fill in the unexpired term until this gets ironed out. So you have one name to put on your list.
However, if, like you pointed out, if South Wind's part of the city, that's,
No, it's not.
It's not.
No.
No.
South End's not part of the city.
I misunderstood.
I still think we need to do a thorough search before we appoint someone.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that just on the website for that, or where is it that someone would need to go if they were interested?
Yeah, so it's on actually the city's website for advisory boards was where they would apply.
Okay. Library board appointments.
Library board appointment. They have a library board of 5 right now with 2 vacancies, but with 2 people most willing to serve. One of the names we've heard before, and that's Marcia Rupp. I'll refresh your memory. Back when we had the last vacancy, her name was before us, as was Jay Cook. And Jay was appointed, and we at the time commented that we'd hold Marcia in reserve for the next opening. Well, here's her name again, and then a person who is an engineer employee at Dairy Farmers of America by the name of Matthias Gonzalez Flores. He has an interesting background because of his educational background. He's finished his bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering and furthered his education by completing a master's degree in systems engineering. This fellow is sharp, and he's most willing to serve. So, with your permission, Mr. Chairman, I would offer both of those names into consideration to replace the 2 vacancies and become members of the Finney County Library Board.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Second?
Questions?
Just
Discussion?
one question, and I have this of many boards, but are there term limits on these?
There are, and
So these would be filling 3-year terms or something, or are they filling unexpired?
they're filling unexpired terms. Pam says she sent that over. With Robert being gone, we've lost a little bit of our connection here, but she sent these nominations to Robert, and I don't know where that went to. So then she sent it to Dory, don't know where that went to. So this has been going on for a couple of months, but she had the pecking order, I think, we'll find out when they get appointed. This kind of like the federal government, you need to pass it before you know what's in it, so,
Well, you've got willing participants, that's the main thing.
yeah.
It is, Mr. Chair, but I would ask, Mr. Chair, that Jenny and Dory, Gabby, whoever, the clerk in the administrator's office, anytime that board appointments come to us, that there is that information in the letter that is sent to us. In this case, I know it's verbal, but that if there's terms and term limits unexpired, that they require the presenter to have that information in that document. Just save me asking the question each time, but I think it's just good information to have on the record.
Do we want to vote on that?
Yep. Any more, I was gonna see, any more questions or discussion?
In discussion.
Okay.
Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Mackenzie, you're up again.
Good morning again. Okay, so, well, thank you. So today's development update, I don't really have much of an update for the three major developments that we have in the county right now. That would be Randall Estates, Country Acres, and Western Kansas Corridor. Randall Estates, we're still working with the developer. He's working on getting his letter of credit right now and then getting us those updated cost estimates for the RHID. So as soon as we receive those, we can continue to move forward. Then in addition to that, so on May 16th, as I discussed last board meeting about the vacation of that street for that property that we own, or that the board owns on Mary and 8th Street, that will be the future site of the Health Department EMS station. May 16th is going to be the public hearing for the vacation of Hummer Drive. So that street that's there. Just for your awareness. So, and that's all I have for you, unless you have questions for me.
Questions?
Okay.
Great job. No
Thank you.
questions. County Administrator, Assistant County Administrator, I should say. I don't know. Interim County Administrator.
So for the last couple of weeks, it's been pretty busy around here. The MOU for Idea Tech will be postponed to May 15th. We requested information on that MOU probably a month ago, and they finally got it to us late last week. So we did not have time to get it on this agenda, but it will be on the next one as well. The RHID resolution and the Personnel Policy Committee will also be moved to May 15th in order to give County Council some additional time to review the things that we've got going on in those two deals. And I attended the Early Learning Network board meeting on May 24th and the K-State Community Open Forum on the 25th and the Adult Corrections Advisory Board on the 25th. Eco-Devo board meeting on the 26th, and we celebrated Administrative Professionals Day in our office with our two, Karen and Tyler, and then we had a big celebration in the park. We tried to have a big celebration in the park on Friday, and it was very cold and windy, and we did not have a lot of traffic to the booths that were set up in the park. But the Touch-A-Truck they had quite a bit of traffic after school. So we were pleasantly surprised with the amount of people that were there. We were able to get the drone up for a little bit, and they had the K-9 out to talk to the public about, as well as several pieces of equipment that Public Works, Noxious Weeds, and the fairgrounds brought over for people to look at. The command trailer was there, as well as an ambulance, a sheriff's vehicle, their little Razor. Did I miss anything? What else did we have over there? We had a lot of fun. The employees played some cornhole for a little while to try and keep warm, and so we had fun. And we did have quite a bit of traffic over there for those pieces of equipment. So, in spite of Mother Nature, we were pleasantly surprised with the turnout. And we are continuing to work on department budgets starting this week.
Okay, questions?
Mr. Chairman, I would compliment all the staff that was out there, and I know Dave stopped by for a minute, and I was out there quite a while the other day. The chairman stopped by before he went fishing, and but nevertheless, my serious point about this is It did raise some awareness in the community because I've had several people ask me, even though they didn't come by there, they said, so the food trucks are every Friday, and what else was going on there last Friday with all the stuff? And an attorney who has an office a couple doors from the park came by, he said, I just wanted to see what was happening. So I hope, and yes, the weather was not conducive to a big crowd, but I hope that doesn't prevent us from doing a similar thing next year, because there will be a national proclamation for County Government Month. And then lastly, when I was in Hayes last week, I asked KAC, and he said, oh my, that's what we were hoping that every county would do, is something like that. So I think we can be a model to that, and I think we give it another try, at least one more year, hoping for better weather. And because I think it did create some awareness and so forth. And I know a lot of pictures were taken, some maybe not so, maybe you don't want to post all of them, but not that they were bad, but bad looking.
Were you in the picture or something?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And so, but I hope we post some of those pictures and just create some additional awareness of what the county's trying to do, because I think it was a great event, and yes, could have been better weather, but let's do it again next year.
Very appreciative of all the employees that went out and toughed it out.
Yeah.
Good. Ms. Sharp, you're up.
Okay. Well, as someone with a little boy who loves all things equipment, he doesn't care what the weather's like. He's going to go out there and touch every truck. So I think that's always going to be a hit with some of those kids. So most of my updates at this point in time, I did request the executive session to be put on the agenda. There are some matters of pending litigation that need to at least update you all on, which would fall under the attorney-client exception to the open records for executive session.
Who all, does Jenny need to be in attendance, or?
I believe Jenny and myself would be the only ones who would need to be in there at this point, along with the commissioners.
Let's have a motion for executive session for 20 minutes. I'm sorry, you had anything else? Or
No, I think that'd be good.
okay, for 20 minutes. So at 9:35, we'll be back in here.
I would move that we do so, including Jenny and Kara, and for a 20-minute period.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
May 1st starts National Mental Health Awareness Month, and I was just going to have Dana come up and give you some updates on what the health department is doing this month.
Okay.
Here she is.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Dana. I'm with the Health Department. I just want to go over some quick information in recognition of May being Mental Health Awareness Month. Finney County Health Department is undertaking activities to increase awareness for both Finney County Health Department and our community. We continue to collaborate with county departments and community-based organizations to find more ways to understand and meet the needs of our community for not only mental health and behavioral health concerns, but also for substance misuse disorders. In collaboration with GIS, we created the Community Mental Health Journal. It's an anonymous way to share mental health experiences from our community so we can gain a better understanding of our community's needs. In collaboration with Parker and Dewey, we are facilitating a student internship where the focus is designing a mental health awareness campaign that will last throughout the whole month of May. And we will be posting those on our social media platform, Facebook. We continue to attend in-person events in collaboration with Garden City Community College and various other organizations within the county to raise awareness, where we highlight preventative and resilience building activities. So we continue to do as much as we can to really understand as public health what our need is, because as we all see, there is a huge need.
Have you had an increase in requests for help on the mental health side?
We have, and unfortunately, I think as the community as a whole, we have a shortage. And that has been clearly identified. And it's also something difficult to do right now.
Questions for Dana? Go ahead.
Yes, Chairman, just a clarification as much for us as people who might be watching online, but you mentioned that working with the county departments and so forth, but also you mentioned working with community organizations. Can you give us some examples of some of those organizations and how you are coordinating with them?
So yes, one of the main ones is Live Well. Just really working with them, and any events that they're doing, they reach out to us. Anything we're doing, we reach out to them to hopefully try not to overlap services and just really use our time and dollars on things that are needed and not overlapping. The college, we do all of their mental health events. USD 457, anything that we can collaborate with them. We're in close contact with Michelle Scholl. Really just sitting down and trying to identify what does our community need and what is being done, where can we fill those gaps.
And part of the reason for my question was education versus treatment versus, I was just trying to get a handle on what you were doing and how you were doing it.
Right now, it's mainly understanding and more so the education. With us at the health department, we have minimal of the treatment part. That's, those are your Compass, Genesis. We reach out to them, and they're the ones that are carrying most of that burden. Unfortunately, it's short-staffed.
Appreciate all you guys are doing in the health department.
Thank you.
Questions? Thank you. Okay. Dave, we'll start with the commissioner reports.
Well, mine's not much of a report. My library board, and we've about covered the deal there, was shortage of board members. Otherwise, it was Sue from LS&S was in personal attendance, and so it was kind of a let's just entertain each other, and so good meeting. And then I stopped by briefly at Stevens Park, and I'm an old feller and can't stand the cold, and so the next government day, we need to do that on an 80-degree day with calm winds. So
I do also need to thank the city because they helped me get approvals for that, to move it along quite quickly, so we do need.
Anyway, I appreciate the staff's efforts and Commissioner Finney for holding down a tent that was trying to blow away. He was doing a good job, but that's it. I didn't
Must
have,
be the photograph you're referring to.
They were trying to make a tent into a kite, and I thought might want to help them on that, so.
Okay. Wayne?
Just 2 meetings, Convention and Visitors Bureau, normal monthly. They approved a few grants, but the biggest thing is the ladies' golf tournament starts in earnest, I think it's Wednesday. They're gonna be, it's a big deal for the community, and any people out we highly encourage you to support that event. Then we had a Great Plains development meeting, talked some on the budget, and it's kind of a normal traditional meeting for Great Plains development.
No. Commissioner Pishney, you went to Hayes.
And I'm gonna take just a little bit of time, so just alerting our official timekeeper.
Wait a
I may
minute.
go over our time, so yeah, give me a little bit of grace here.
You're on.
but,
Clock's running.
And I will just give a summary, but sometimes I'm a little bit remiss in not reporting back some of these meetings that I go to and represent our commission, and I appreciate the opportunity to be able to be a part of some of these organizations. But the Kansas County Commissioners Association Spring Conference in Hayes last week, I think they said there were about 80 counties represented, or maybe it was a little less than that at the meeting, but it was well attended compared to the others that I've been to. But a couple of highlights. A lot of the first day was spent with legislative action, and we actually convened our thing on the start of the veto session. And so at that particular point, we didn't know what the results of some of the vetoes might be, and we've subsequently seen some of those. But during that segment of our conference, there was a lot of talk, and I can't remember where it is in the tax bill and so forth, what the status is, but on the LAVTR refunds, and as Mike Taylor said to our group, who's our lobbyist, it actually has been a breach of contract by the state for over 20 years with not sending monies to the counties and cities. But the point I want to make, and we've talked about this issue here locally a number of different times, but the point I want to make is a comment that Jay Hall made during that discussion, and that is, instead of using the acronyms for local ad valorem tax reduction or LAVTR, that we equate it to actual dollars that we've missed out on all these years, and what those dollars could have equated to a mill levy decrease, if you will. And that's the point, that as we're talking about that, and we'll see where it is after all the legislation is dealt with. I think that as we talk about what the state should be doing for us when they talk about property tax reduction, and they haven't done, that we equate it to dollars rather than acronyms, so that people really know and how it might have hit their pockets. So I thought Jay gave us a really good suggestion with that. We had some presentations on economic development, on civic leadership, and so forth from the Kansas Leadership Center, and a few other things. There was an outstanding presentation by Nicole Aiken, who's with the League of Municipalities, with regard to Kansas Open Meetings Act. And she did it in such a clear and understanding way. It was the best presentation I've heard on open meetings in all the times, and I've heard a number of them over the years. And then one quick note about the Kansas League of Municipalities. I don't know if you're all aware that they hired a new executive director in March, and Nathan Eberline is his name, And he worked for KAC at one time, and now he's the executive director for the league. And we're excited about that because he will have to lobby for his organization. We understand that. But he has a great understanding of KAC, so it's going to be a very good relationship with the league. Not that we've had a bad one, but that it will be even a better one now. And then just the relationships and visiting with people from Miami County and Riley County and Shawnee County and Sedgwick County, and hearing some of the things that are going on in some of these other counties. And we are blessed out here in Finney County compared to some of the others as far as our relationship with other organizations outside of the county. And so it just really helps me put things in context when I attend these kind of meetings. So they're working on next spring's conference, and it will be in southeast Kansas somewhere. They try to move it around the different quadrants of the state. Then lastly, the KAC conference in the fall will be in Wichita for the next couple of years. I don't have the dates here in front of me, but the KAC conference will be in Wichita. KCCA will be somewhere in southeast Kansas next spring. So great conference, as far as relationships and the time with other commissioners, and the presentations this year I thought were some of the best that they've put together for these spring conferences. So other than that, I was there at the park for a while on Friday, and I really, as I said earlier, applaud the staff for being there and taking part in it.
Good.
That's it.
About the only thing I've got to report is
You did well.
attended the reception for the President Lytton when he was in Garden City, and it was quite interesting to listen to. They'd brought students in with them in their presentations, and these were two local students, and how they've gotten on, moved up in their higher education and what they're doing, and it was quite interesting. What I thought was the most interesting thing was that a couple of these other students from different areas said, we didn't realize what was going on out in western Kansas, and all the internships and everything that they had been presented at K-State were for going to Missouri or Iowa or somewhere else. I thought, wow, what a loss. We haven't done a very good job of. But I know President Lytton, it's interesting, it's refreshing to have a university president come out and see us, because that's not normal. Because I can't remember the last time I ever went to one when the university president was here. And he was meeting with Dr. Ruda later on that day, and they've got some things they're working on with the junior college on using facilities and maybe expanding facilities. So I think that's great, when they sit down and get to talking to each other. Also went to the Finney County Committee on Aging, their meeting. They're in the process of looking at trying to do something with their old building, either renovate it or add on to it. They've got a long ways to go. They're just in the searching area right now, I think. And then I had on a conference call with KLPG, and it was their take on the legislative session was that the House got along pretty good, did a good job this year. In the Senate, it was kind of a debate where they were. And the governor vetoed like 22 bills, I think something like that. And they were 11 for 11. They overrode her on 11, and at the time we had the conference call, they were still working on the budget, so I don't know where that ended up. I know the revenue neutral thing, they extended it. The state's going to pay for it for another year through 24. So he says that they'll probably bring it up next year for discussion and elimination. So we need to be ready to help them on that one. Oh, and the 3-day grace period on boating, where we get vote on Mondays and we're counting ballots on Fridays from the mail-ins. That failed to pass. They were going to eliminate it just strictly on the day of voting, and that didn't pass. And then there was a bill, 228 House bill on jails.
The $100
Yeah.
reimbursement, and that did.
And this was on separation of male and female prisoners. And they they overrode the veto on that, I think. So when we get a published deal from KLPG, well, you guys will get it too. That's a little more detailed than my notes of scribbling down here on the paper. Other than that, oh, wait a minute, there's one more thing. Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No,
Well, with regard to the budget, the thing you're talking about with regard to the jails, that did pass, and it had the $100 reimbursement for mental health within the jails, and that was a part of that bill. They were able to override that veto, and so they just announced that to us on Thursday before we left Hayes. And then in the budget, what is concerning, and there is hope that there will be a line item veto, but it is in the in the budget bill to exempt childcare, fitness centers, and I don't remember some of the others, if there's competition between the private sector and the public sector. It could have huge ramifications within each and every county of Kansas if that stays in. But the governor has the option of line item veto, and so the hope is she will veto that particular piece. And then when you were mentioning meetings, I meant to say this earlier. Jan and I attended the Real Men, Real Leaders recognition banquet Friday evening, and if you want something that really warms your heart, that's a banquet to attend next year. The Real Men, Real Leaders, and they actually outgrew the Clarion, and they were in the gymnasium at the community college this year. But Ernie Garcia, who's a Garden City guy, and was superintendent of Highway Patrol for a while, worked with Bob Dole, and was the sergeant at arms in the Senate at that time, was the keynote speaker. And the thing I'll leave you with from his, and he gave some great comments to the 5th, 6th graders that were being recognized. But his opening statement when he started his talk was, you need to make sure you accomplish one thing every day, and the way you start your day is by making your bed so that you know you've done one thing each day. So I just thought it was a great way to open his talk the other day. He was outstanding speaker, so I failed to mention
okay,
that earlier.
good. Jenny attended the deal with President Litton along with I, and so do you have any comments, or did you take away anything?
I found it interesting that we're not the only ones, that other people feel like once our kids get gone, they're not coming back, and that's problematic. And so some of the different things that were talked about was very interesting too, as well as the agricultural pieces that we're missing out here too.
He did make the comment that they are working on recruiting out-of-state students. If you have an out-of-state high schooler that's got a 3.9 or better grade point average, out-of-state tuition is waived. It's the same as in-state. And if they're 3.5 and then 3.5 on up, it's a graduated system. So they're trying to get their student count back up. And the last time we'd ever met with him out here, that was our encouragement that we raise these kiddos out here and then send them off to educate them, and they're gone. So we're trying to keep them here locally. I guess other than that, I don't have anything else. Guess we're done. Dave?
Well, I have a question because it's missing. or page 88 out of 88, or the upcoming meetings, May 15, June 5, but that's missing a couple. There's a May 18 and a May 19 meeting that are special budget meetings that we need on the calendar.
Good point.
Those are also listed on page 81 in the,
Speak up, hon.
those are also on page 81 with the other board meetings, so they just got dropped off of that last page. But those are the outside agency meetings.
Yeah, I know it was there, but it's, anyway.
Okay. Well,
Thank you.
see you all in a couple weeks.
You want me to hit?
Yeah, you can hit the bad.